In the opening days of 2025, a confidential legal memo from deep within the Department of Justice, soon to be known worldwide as the War Memo, was leaked to the public under mysterious circumstances, sending shockwaves across the globe and igniting a media firestorm that spanned continents. The memo revealed that the U.S. military had been secretly authorized to take aggressive, even deadly action against vessels in international waters, an unprecedented expansion of executive power that stunned both allies and adversaries. The fact that the leak originated from within President Trump's own Justice Department left the nation reeling, exposing deep internal fractures and a crisis of trust at the highest levels of government. Across the country, Americans watched in disbelief as the details emerged, alarmed by the revelation of a secret, aggressive foreign policy that had bypassed Congress and the usual checks and balances. The memo's legal reasoning, which controversially linked Latin American drug cartels to foreign adversaries, raised urgent questions about the limits of presidential authority in matters of war and national security, and whether such sweeping powers could be justified. Internationally, the idea that the U.S. could launch military strikes in international waters based on secret legal justifications unsettled world leaders, sparking emergency meetings and signaling a dramatic shift in global norms and expectations. The leak suggested that even top officials, alarmed by the memo's implications, were willing to risk their careers, and possibly their freedom, to expose what they saw as a dangerous and reckless policy. This single event triggered a wave of high-stakes investigations, fierce debates about government transparency, and a dramatic shift in policy toward journalists and whistleblowers as lawmakers scrambled to respond. The War Memo leak laid bare the deep tensions and divisions within the American government, fueling global distrust of the Trump administration's unpredictable and aggressive approach to foreign policy. It set the stage for a cascade of political, legal, and diplomatic consequences that would dominate headlines and shape the world's response for months to come. At the heart of the controversy was a secret legal opinion from the DOJ's Office of Legal Counsel, a document drafted behind closed doors and shielded from public scrutiny. This opinion provided a sweeping framework for a major escalation in the fight against international drug trafficking, empowering agencies to take unprecedented steps. The memo authorized the U.S. military to use deadly force against suspected drug smuggling boats in international waters, a sharp break from previous law enforcement-led operations, and a move that stunned many both inside and outside government. Its legal justification reclassified powerful cartels as hybrid threats, linking them to hostile foreign states, and unlocking the president's war powers. This redefinition allowed the administration to bypass traditional legal and diplomatic channels, granting the military broad authority. This blurred the line between crime and war, and between law enforcement and military action. The distinction between policing and warfare, once clear, became dangerously ambiguous. Critics warned the policy could lead to civilian deaths and international incidents, all without congressional oversight. Human rights groups and legal scholars sounded alarms about unchecked executive power and the risk of unintended consequences. The danger became real when a U.S. strike killed a Colombian fisherman, putting a human face on the memo's consequences. The tragedy sent shockwaves through affected communities and ignited outrage abroad. The leak appeared to be a calculated act by someone deeply troubled by the memo's implications, determined to bring the secret policy into the light and spark a national debate. By exposing the War Memo, the leaker forced a public reckoning over a policy designed to operate in the shadows. The revelations dominated headlines and fueled heated discussions in Congress and the media. The controversy challenged the very foundation of the administration's aggressive new strategy, raising urgent questions about accountability, transparency, and the true cost of waging war in the name of national security. The War Memo's disclosure sent the Trump administration into crisis mode, launching aggressive investigations to control the fallout and find the leaker. The DOJ and Pentagon both announced full-scale inquiries, threatening polygraph tests and criminal prosecution for anyone involved. Federal employees, especially in national security, found themselves under intense scrutiny and suspicion. Critics argued that polygraphs were more about intimidation than truth, creating a chilling effect on potential whistleblowers. The aggressive hunt for the leaker exposed deep divisions within the government over national security policy. The administration's focus on punishment, rather than public debate, was seen as an attempt to suppress dissent. The episode revealed a government fractured by internal battles over the direction of U.S. power. As the search for the leaker intensified, the Trump administration took aim at the press. Attorney General Pam Bondi reversed a key DOJ policy, making it easier to seize journalists' records and compel testimony, dismantling protections for reporters and their sources. This marked a dramatic escalation in efforts to control information, treating journalists as potential accessories to leaks. The new policy aimed to deter whistleblowers by threatening the anonymity of their contacts in the press. The administration's war on leaks now included the press as a target, fundamentally altering the balance between government secrecy and press freedom. The crackdown on journalists was just one front in a broader war on information. The DOJ expanded what could trigger investigations, targeting not just classified leaks, but any sensitive or politically damaging disclosures. This gave the administration sweeping power to punish dissent and control the public narrative. Other departments, like Homeland Security, ramped up polygraph testing to root out leakers, mirroring the Pentagon's aggressive stance. The DOJ also launched investigations into political opponents, using federal power to scrutinize adversaries and enforce loyalty. This multi-front campaign marked a sharp break from previous administrations, aiming for total message control. The goal: ensure only administration-approved information reached the public, creating an environment of enforced silence. The war memo leak sent ripples of anxiety through the international community. Allies saw it as confirmation of the Trump administration's unpredictable unilateral approach, threatening the rules-based order. Latin American nations directly implicated by the memo and the deadly strike faced public outrage and diplomatic strain. The policy revived fears of heavy-handed U.S. intervention and fueled anti-American sentiment. Adversaries like China and Russia seized on the chaos, portraying the U.S. as unstable and lawless. The leak became a symbol of American decline and deepening global distrust. Even traditional partners felt alienated, unsure of America's next move. The war memo didn't create this unease, but it crystallized it, making the world more uncertain about U.S. intentions. America's role on the global stage was now in question. The war memo saga left a deep and lasting scar on American politics, eroding trust in government institutions and shaking the very foundation of public faith in democracy. The controversy didn't just spark outrage, it ignited a nationwide debate about the limits of power and the meaning of patriotism. For many Americans, the leak confirmed their worst fears about secret, unchecked executive power operating behind closed doors. For Trump supporters, it was seen as a calculated act of sabotage by the so-called deep state, fueling suspicions and deepening divisions. The administration's crackdown on leaks and journalists was viewed by some as a necessary defense of national security, while others saw it as a dangerous assault on the free press and a direct threat to the principles of democracy itself. This polarization only deepened the crisis of trust, blurring the line between truth and propaganda, and making it harder for Americans to agree on basic facts or find common ground. Harsher rules and aggressive investigations threatened to silence future whistleblowers, weakening government accountability and discouraging those who might otherwise expose wrongdoing for the public good. The war memo affair became a case study in the fragility of democratic norms, the dangers of unchecked secrecy, and the ongoing struggle to balance security with transparency. In the aftermath, the nation was left to grapple with fundamental questions about transparency, accountability, and the uncertain future of American democracy, questions that remain unresolved to this day.